Hello everyone, welcome to the When at Work podcast. You're with the host Julian Leahy. Today I'm joined by the fantastic John Chan and Tyler Foley. Sean Tyler Foley. Unfortunately, Liz had to go due to technical issues, probably on my end. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here, Julian.
Awesome. All right, let's get straight into it without any further delay. Music is on. John, you're in control. The categories are Women in Government, TV Guide says, The Green Pages, Inventive Minds, Coats of Arms, underscore something, the underscore. What would you like?
I'll take underscore the underscore for 100.
Okay. This expression meaning opposite one's basic temperament refers to the direction of fibers in wood.
What is against the grain?
What is against the grain is correct. Well done. John.
Can I just jump in if I know, or do we have to wait?
We've got to give him time. You'll see a little countdown timer.
You'll have your turn.
I'll let you know, Sean. I like the exuberance. John, what would you like? He's ready to go. He's hopped up.
I'll take underscore the underscore for 200.
200. To be in a tight spot is to be here without a paddle. Oh. This could be rude in Australia. To be in a tight spot is to be here without a paddle. Something the...
I should know this.
What are you in when you have a paddle? I don't know. Is that going to help?
I'm going to have to pass.
Sean?
Up the creek or up the river without a paddle?
Let's take a look. Up the creek. Do you know what we say in Australia? For that one?
What do you think?
Do tell.
Is it okay if I say a rude word?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Up shit creek without a paddle. That's what my dad would say.
Yeah, it would have been. I was censoring for the sake of the show.
Oh, okay. Yes, I don't have the same ability. All right, you're in control, Sean Tyler Foley. What would you like?
Let's run this category. Blank the blank for 300.
Street performers collect money by doing this literally and figuratively.
Oh.
What do we call those people in the street that are...
Yeah, like a busker, but something the hat. Or sing for their supper. But
what do they do? You almost got it, I think. Something the hat.
Fill the hat.
John, you want to have a crack, just in case you're correct?
I don't have it.
Pass the hat.
Pass the hat. Pass the hat.
All right. You're still in control, Sean. If you get two consecutive wrong answers, we go back to John.
All right, well, let's blank the blank for 400.
Blank the blank for 400. To sternly demand hard work, it's also something Indiana Jones often does. What does the boss do when he comes down hard on you? And what does Indiana Jones do?
Well, all I can think of is lay down the law, but that's like too much.
Sean's going to have a chance.
Oh, crack the whip. Crack the whip.
Let's have a look. Sounds good to me. That was for 400.
All right.
Well done, Sean Tyler Foley. 500 in
Finish
control.
500.
Finish it off. Yeah. One item in a violinist's bag of tricks is the thin, glassy tone made by playing Sal Ponticello, Italian for this.
Pluck the strings.
Really? I have no idea. Let's have a look. Oh, on the bridge.
Oh no! I was so confident with that too. Did you see that? Like with absolutely no.
Right. Should I take points off? What do you think?
Oh yeah, definitely take points off. That was a wrong answer.
Usually I don't. Oh. All right, we're back at 100 versus 0. Sean, you're still in control. You got another turn.
Let's go. TV Guide says for 100.
TV Guide says for 100, Rachel and Finn decide to throw a duet competition to give Sam a better chance to win. What show is that from? Rachel and Finn.
Glee?
Glee. Sean, you're back. Well done.
My man.
Yeah.
What would
All
you
right,
like?
200.
200. TV Guide says Bob and Jillian lead community-wide fitness challenges in 7 cities. Well, they did.
What is the biggest loser?
The Biggest Loser. For 200. Well done, Sean. I think he's found his category. TV Guide says for 300. Or mix it up.
No, run 300. I like running things.
Okay, run it all the way down. Brainiac visits Clark from the future. This is an old show. This is probably 90s.
Yeah.
Were you born then, Sean?
Yeah, oh yeah. What? I want to say it's not Animaniacs. I don't know. I'm gonna let it pass to John.
John? Any idea? Who's Clark? Clark?
I'm not sure.
Clark?
Oh, I do. Ugh, but I'd passed it.
Smallville.
Smallville.
Oh, not the 90s.
Yeah.
I thought it was that other one, Lewis and Clark. You're still in
No,
control, Sean.
Well, go with 400.
400. Caesar tries rehabilitating 3 dog-wolf crossbreeds.
Oh,
What's
is
his
it
show
that-
called?
Oh, I know it too. Uh,
John, do you have any idea on this one?
Oh, what is the
I
dog
had to-
whisperer?
I was gonna say.
Wow. Was that John?
No,
No, that was him. That was him.
That was Sean.
we
right?
need a buzz to be like. I had to think on what was his name. But yeah, dog whisperer.
Well, we could have a buzz. It's just another technical element that I don't want to deal with. All right, Sean, what would you like?
Well, we'll finish off this category.
500. Howard baffles Sheldon.
What is the Big Bang Theory?
The Big Bang Theory for 500.
My
Huge
man.
score.
There we go.
Well done. Sean, what would you like?
It's gonna get dicey at this point.
Yeah.
Women in government for 100.
100 women in government. Bertha Landies, the first woman mayor of a large U.S. city, presided over this largest Washington city in the 1920s.
What is Baltimore?
Seattle.
Oh, no, Seattle.
All right, you got one more.
I was thinking Washington D.C. I don't know why.
Yes. Well, Seattle is in Washington.
Well, it's the state, but I was thinking the district of.
Yes. You are still in control, Sean. What would you like?
200.
200. Formerly director of Arkansas Department of Health in 1993, Jocelyn Elders was appointed to this higher post. How would you know this? It's tough.
What is governor of Arkansas?
The Surgeon General. John, over to you.
I'll do the green pages for 100.
Let's check this one out. Al Gore made his environmental sentiments clear in the 1992 book, This Is in the Balance. He came out with that book about the environment, but what's it called? Something in the Balance. If you could guess.
I do not know.
Have a guess. Come on, John. What's in the balance? Is it
World-
Jupiter?
I don't know.
Is it Mars?
What is Earth?
Who was
There you
that? I can't see.
That was him. He's got it.
Was that Sean?
That was Sean.
Earth in the balance. I tried to help you out there, John. Sean, you are in control. What would you like?
Inventive Minds for 100.
Inventive Minds for 100. His cotton gin gets all the press, but he had a nail-making business even before he went to Yale.
Whitney. Who's
Whitney.
Eli Whitney?
Eli Whitney. Let's have a look. Eli Whitney. Well done. I have never heard of that person.
My man.
The cotton gin. You don't know. He is the beginner of industrialization because of the cotton gin. Because now we can weave textiles because of Eli Whitney.
We believe you, Sean. You are a Jeopardy king. It looks like 1400. How are we going to stop him? What would you like?
Inventive Minds for 200, please.
Inventive Minds for 200. On February 14, 1876, Elisha Gray was a few hours behind this man at the U.S. Patent Office filing a speech transmitting device.
Who is Edison?
Edison. John, do you have any idea?
Who is Benjamin Graham?
Benjamin Graham.
No, we're both wrong. I know who it is.
Bell. Alexander Graham Bell, I think is his name, which is where you got that from. Sean, was that one incorrect answer or two?
It wasn't two in a row. It was one.
One, you're still in control.
Yeah.
What would you like? Women in Government TV Guide says the green pages, Inventive Minds, coats of arms.
Inventive Minds for 300.
Inventive Minds for 300. In 1837, he built a smooth, hard mold board out of a circular saw and, seeing nothing, ran like 'em, began to make steel plows. Steel plows. Oh, I think I could guess this one. What are those big green tractors?
Who is Deere? John Deere.
That's what I reckon. Let's take a look. John Deere is correct. Well done. John, you're still alive. Don't worry, you're going to get a turn.
Don't forget, we get double. Let's go with Inventive Minds for 400.
Inventive Minds for 400. Sir Frederick Abel's invention of cordite eliminated this, produced by gunpowder from the battlefield. It's a tough one. Sir Frederick Abel's invention of cordite eliminated this, produced by gunpowder from the battlefield. What did it eliminate from the battlefield?
What is smoke?
John? John's gone into his shell. Oh, smoke! Well done.
My
That
man.
was a random guess.
That's incredible, Sean. You should go on the real Jeopardy. At this moment, I'll just mention the winner qualifies for the champion round, where they will be playing for whatever's in the tip jar, which should be about $500. If you want to add to the tip jar, you can put in $3, and I'll give you a shout out live. Continuing on, Sean, what would you like?
Let's finish out this category. Inventive Minds 500.
Inventive Minds for 500. In 1888, his lightweight, box-shaped invention eliminated the need for glass photographic plates.
I can't. The shake it like a Polaroid picture. Kodak. Who is Kodak?
Okay, actually, that's a pretty good answer. John, do you want to have a turn? It's got to be. It's the only camera guy, surely. Let's take a look. Oh, Eastman. Unfortunately, but he formed Eastman Kodak, didn't he? Is that two incorrect or one?
I will say it's 2. I'm pretty sure that's got to be 2. I don't think I got 400 either. Well, let's go over to John.
Let's get John in the mix. Come on, John. I know you've studied, you've prepared for this Jeopardy game all week.
Let's do coat of arms for 100.
Coat of arms for 100. Come on. This country's coat of arms features a Maori chieftain and a European woman supporting the shield. John, I want to give you a clue, John.
Hit me.
They're my next door neighbour.
Yeah, I know.
What is New Zealand?
Let's take a look. New Zealand is correct. John is
There you
still
go.
alive. Woo! Well done, John.
I'm coming for you, Sean.
You got to run.
Yeah.
You've just got to get a few in a row. What would you like?
Let's do the green pages for 200.
The green pages for 200. It was just desserts for Burton Bernstein with his study of the great and terrible wilderness of this desert of Moses. It was just deserts for Burton Bernstein with his study of the great and terrible wilderness of this desert of Moses. What desert is in the Bible? There's only one that I can think of. Well, one that I know.
I don't. But I'll guess. What is the Sahara?
That's what I would have said. Let's take a look. Oh, the Sinai. All right, still alive. What would you like, John?
Green pages for 300.
Green page of 300. Victor Scheffer's The Year of This Mammal is a 1969 classic study on the conservation of an ocean species. Year of the... Which species is often the recipient of conservation efforts in the ocean? It's not the shark.
What is the whale?
I reckon it's got to be the whale. John, with 300, it's a long road back, but I believe in him. What would you like, John?
Let's do green pages for 400.
Green pages for 400. This Swedish female rose from youth activist to global climate leader. This Swedish female rose from youth activist to global climate leader.
I definitely should know this. She was having a spat with Entertain.
Yes, that's correct. That is. I mean, it could be correct. Come on, John. It's in there.
What is her name? What is her name?
Sean Tyler Foley. What's her name?
It was Greta Thunberg.
Greta
There you go.
Thunberg is correct for 400.
Okay.
All right, well, let's finish out that category. Why not?
Green pages for 500. Name the international agreement aimed at addressing climate change by reducing greenhouse gas emissions. It was adopted in 2015 and has been ratified by nearly all countries.
What is
Maybe-
the Paris Accord?
Yes, this is the one when old Donald Trump had a bit of a tantrum, I think.
Mhm.
Let's have a look. The Paris Agreement.
I got Paris right. I got the and Paris right. I said accord versus agreement.
Oh, I did. Oh, let me take points off. No, that's fine. Paris.
Yeah.
We're all good.
Let's go with women in government for 300.
Women in government for 300. Born in New York to parents from Puerto Rico, this Supreme Court justice calls herself a New Yorkan. A New Yorkan. New Yorkan. New Yorkan. New Yorkan for the listeners. Born in New York to parents
Supreme
from Puerto
Court.
Rico, this Supreme Court justice calls herself a New Yorkan. Like Puerto Rican New Yorkan.
Do we have?
The only New Yorkan I know is Jennifer Lopez from Puerto Rico. But she's not
No,
quite
and RBG passed away. I don't think she was Puerto Rican. I don't know. If I had to guess, Ginsburg, but there's no way she was from Puerto Rico.
No, she sounds like she's from Brooklyn.
She's very much from Brooklyn.
John, do you have any idea who this New Yorkan Supreme Court justice is?
Nope.
Sotomayor. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, Sotomayor, yeah.
It does, okay. Sean Tyler Foley, you're in control still. What would you like?
I go with the 400.
400, women in government. Oveta Culp Hobby, the only woman in Eisenhower's cabinet, was the first head of this department, HEW for short, or HEW for short. Oveta Culp
HEW.
Hobby, the only woman in Eisenhower's cabinet, was the first head of this department, HEW for short. What would that be? Cabinet would be HEW.
HEW.
They wouldn't have given her like the women's department or something, I'm sure.
Health and welfare, health, education, and welfare.
Oh, look at that. That sounds pretty logical. Health, education, and welfare. Sean, you are an absolute champion.
Let's go.
So if you didn't say what is.
The referee's circling. John, we're going to do a standing 8 count. He's still alive. Sean, what would you like?
Finish out that category for 500.
Women in government for 500. His widow, Muriel, became Minnesota's first female senator when she filled his vacant seat in 1978. Minnesota's first female senator. How would you know this if you weren't from Minnesota? Well, Muriel somebody? Muriel's wedding? Muriel? We don't know. I've got crickets. Time's up. Muriel. Oh, Hubert Humphrey. Okay. Is that 2 incorrect answers? I think we're going to bring John back to life.
Yes,
John, coats of arms for how much?
200.
200. The coat of arms of Norfolk Island in the South Pacific features the Norfolk's species of this conifer. You know, I'm going to give you a clue. This is kind of in my neighborhood as well. I really don't know what the answer is, but I know they have lots of pine trees.
Pine trees?
Yeah. Conifer, something like... I'm thinking pine trees. That's all I'm thinking. The Norfolk. You wouldn't even... Norfolk Island is this tiny place out to the east of Australia. If I was you, I would say pine trees, but I could be barking up the wrong pine tree altogether. Time's up.
Well,
a pine tree is correct. I tried to throw you a bone there, John. What would you like?
You did.
Coats of arms.
Let's do 300.
300. Australia's coat of arms features a kangaroo and which flightless bird?
The kiwi?
No.
I'm sorry.
Sean.
It's not a kiwi because that would be New Zealand, and there is no way that New Zealand would allow Australia to have the kiwi on it.
It looks like an ostrich.
It's like a what is an emu? Emu?
Emu is correct.
Well done.
1, 2, 3.
Flightless birds. There's not that many.
No, there aren't.
True.
400.
You had that bit right. It was a flightless bird. All right, 400. Canada and which UK country feature a unicorn on their coat of arms?
Oh.
Okay, clue for everyone. It's the home place of haggis. First one to get it.
Oh, what is Scotland?
Was that John?
No, that was Tyler.
Oh.
Mr. Sean Tyler Foley.
1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we're just going to finish off the board. Coats of arms for 500. Put John out of his misery. On Singapore's coat of arms, the lion represents Singapore itself, and a tiger represents its historical link to this country.
What is China?
Has to be, doesn't it? What is? Oh,
Malaysia. Oh, that would make way more sense.
Maybe I should have given John a chance. Do you know that one?
I actually don't.
You don't. Okay. Well,
dude, you crushed it.
You crushed it. In fact, that looks like a record score. Well done, Sean Tyler. You have won. And let's go back to business here. And John, I really want to hear from you, John. You're an entrepreneur with a passion for user experience. Tell us about what you've been up to.
Sure. I run a growth agency out of Vancouver, Canada. We do performance marketing for e-commerce and SaaS brands. And so media buying is my jam. And been doing that for about 7 years now, since 2016. But leading up to that, I was a user experience designer and a software developer. So I started my career doing front-end development, then ran usability labs, did user research, and that transitioned into conversion rate optimization before I joined a company the folks behind Basecamp at 37 Signals as one of their conversion designers. Yeah, that's kind of my background.
For the people that don't know, tell us what media buying is and why we should care about it.
For sure. Media buying is running advertising on any platforms, really, but I specialize specifically in paid search and paid social. So I run Google Ads, which encompasses anything within Google's inventory. So YouTube, technically Gmail too, but mostly primarily in Google search. And then on the paid social side, we primarily run ads on Facebook and Meta platforms, so Facebook and Instagram. And occasionally we'll do like Snap or TikTok.
And you've worked with some big clients. Is there any that you can mention? Or you could talk about the size of the accounts, I suppose, if you can't.
Yeah, I'll probably talk about like size of the accounts, I guess. We primarily, so one of the brands we work with, we're part of the growth team, and we took the brand. The brand went from $2 million in annual sales to $20 million. We have a DTC e-commerce brand that we took from switching numbers, but $30,000 per month to $860. All kinds of brands, but I think we started earlier days on smaller brands, which was not necessarily easier to run. But it actually got us to really understand the material well enough so that when we worked with larger brands, things were different challenges, but relatively easier.
And what sort of clients do you work with now? Who would you be wanting to speak to?
Yeah, I think brands that are within large enough that they have product market fit, so they have enough consumers and customers that they know they have initial traction, but have a harder time transitioning to growth when they know they could be. So they have competing brands or they have a great product that they are having a hard time commercializing. So very ballpark would be like companies that are doing somewhere between $20,000 to $50,000 per month. But can scale to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Those are usually our sweet spot.
And where should people be advertising today? Has it changed? I mean, do you do much in TikTok or Instagram? What do you mostly work with?
They're different. So if you are if your product or company is in a category that has a significant amount of search volume, Google is where people are closest to the purchase decision because they go there to look for something specifically. And so we call that generally as demand capture. Doesn't matter if it's Google or Bing, rather. In a search environment, even Amazon is a search environment. That's where people are looking for something specifically. And that's sufficient if you have enough search volume. But if you're in a category that's visual and you need to show people or can show people how your product or company works, paid social is a great environment because people are always browsing that under downtime. It's interruptive because you're in between looking at entertaining content. But if you can find ways to insert yourself in a natural way that allows people to be slightly entertained, but also learn about your product or service in the meantime, is a great way to generate new demand for your product.
Wonderful. And if you want to have a chat with John, you're mainly on Instagram. LinkedIn. Is that correct?
I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter. You can find me at JTC Chan on Twitter, or you can just find us on our website. It's 2x.agency. That's the URL. Or you can reach out to me at John, JOHN, at 2xcd.com, the number 2, the letter X, C, and D.com.
Wonderful. Well, thanks very much for that, John. Let's have a chat with Tyler. Tyler, you've been jumping out of windows. What's that all about?
Yeah, I used to live where John is currently located, and when I was in the beautiful metropolitan of Vancouver, I was a stunt professional for a time, and made a pretty good living jumping out of windows and not hurting myself. But then I moved back to my birthplace of Calgary, Alberta. So now I'm east of John and enjoying my time in the prairies and close to the Rocky Mountains, and spending most of my time actually as a safety consultant and public speaker coach.
And when you say safety consultant, is this still to do with the entertainment industry?
Ironically, not much. I have consulted a few times, particularly in the last couple of years, over outbreak protocols and helping set up testing protocols for COVID. So that was helpful. And I had a lot of different clients, including film and television clients. But most of my clients, particularly being in Alberta, Canada, are oil and gas, construction, and engineering firms. And then I have a smaller portfolio of care facilities and things like that, daycares, senior care, that kind of thing.
And you're a performer at heart as well. You've been in lots of things, apparently, and ones that I've just recently watched, Freddy versus Jason. Is that correct? You're in that movie?
I am, as a matter of fact, in Freddy versus Jason, in a very blink and you'll miss it role at the very end during the dream sequence when the main protagonists go into Jason Voorhees' dream to confront Freddy Krueger. And I play one of the camp counselors who is basically ignoring Jason while he drowns in Crystal Lake. And I get the privilege and joy of morphing into Freddy Krueger as a camp counselor. So that's pretty cool.
That's cool, yeah. I think I know that scene as well. Awesome. And so you've done lots of performing, and you've written a book basically about how to speak, public speaking. It's called
correct.
The Power to Speak Naked. Tell us a bit about that and how we can sort of improve our ability to speak publicly and get over stage fright.
Well, it's funny because I got into safety not because I'm a really good safety professional, but because I speak really well. And so my toolbox talks and my safety meetings tend to not be boring. My training sessions tend to be entertaining and subsequently educational because people walk away remembering what was said. And I had a lot of executives who came up to me afterwards and were very glowing in their commendations of those training sessions and wanted to know how they could do that or how they could duplicate that at their business. And so I ended up putting together a couple of training programs originally designed for construction professionals, but now offered to anybody who wants to learn to public speak on how to master it. And really the secret is everybody claims that they're afraid of public speaking, and the reality is they're not. And I can prove it very quickly. If you've ever been to a restaurant and ordered food, you spoke in public. And if you didn't know your wait staff, you spoke to a complete stranger, asked for what you want, and what you got it. So this notion that we're afraid to speak in public, or we're afraid to speak to strangers, or we're afraid to ask for what we want is null and void if you've ever been to a restaurant and had your food delivered to your table.
Yes, well, I can manage it, but I actually am anxious about it, and I want to make sure that I've got my entree and main ready to go so that I'm not taking too much time from the waiter.
Yes.
But I get through it. And what do people do wrong with presentations and speaking?
Ironically enough, they try to speak too much. And a lot of times, if you want to engage your audience, you want to have a really good presentation, you should not be speaking. You should be leading the presentation in a very strategic manner. And that's one of the things that we cover in both the book and my training courses. But a lot of times people will get caught up in PowerPoints and trying to do this massive information dump. And the reality is, if you can focus in on a single point and cover that well and allow your audience to have input into their thoughts and reactions to the information that you're presenting, that is going to be the most memorable presentation, because that is what our audience can digest. And if you need to get further into detail, you can definitely explore that. If there's multiple points that you want to explore, depending on the time that you have, you can. But being very succinct very quickly and allowing your audience to be part of that presentation and actually lead that presentation is usually the key to a really successful one.
Yeah, wonderful. And practice makes perfect with these things. And I've got this link here. What's this all about, John?
Oh, so we have a wonderful challenge, the 100 podcasts in 100 days. And with this initial one here, we can show you how to grow to the top of the ranks of the platform that you and I use to connect on Podmatch. I'm actually the author of the #1 best-selling book, Podmatch Guest Mastery, as well. And we can show you how I have successfully been the #1 ranked guest on that platform more than any other guest since its inception in late 2019, early 2020. And I think I've been the #1 ranked guest 23 times in 3.5 years. So almost over half, I think over half of the time I've been on the number 1, and the rest of the time I've been in the number 10. The only times that I drop out of the number 10 is when I've coached 10 clients who bump me out, as is currently the case on Podmatch rankings.
And what sort of benefits have you found from going on lots of podcasts?
Well, John can speak to this. If you were trying to rank your Google searches high, one of the things that Google loves to see is organic backlinks to your website or to the information that you're doing. That's kind of the algorithm's social proof that you are somebody who is actually worth mentioning. And so for me, I was on over 300 podcasts last year, and I have some of the highest SEO ranking from my webmaster, who, I've got a professional person who manages my website, and they keep asking what I've done and if I can show some of their other clients how to do it, which is how both the book and some of these training courses have come about, because I spike it. You got to think too, the podcasts are hosted on some of the largest platforms on the web. So you're looking at Apple, Google, and Google is fun too, because you have both Google Play, like the Google Music, and then you also have YouTube. And so when people are putting up these podcasts, they're usually putting it out on multiple platforms, your Spotify, your iTunes, some of these other larger platforms. And so they all backlink to you, and it just becomes this massive interlinking and coming back to your site. And so just from a pure search engine optimization, and then if you want to start using the power of paid advertising on top of that, then you get that first click because you're paid advertising, but then you get the second click because your search engine optimization is there, and it just reinforces that message that you are the authority to be clicking on. So that, just from that standpoint alone, I can't recommend it enough. And then there's a million other tertiary benefits from having a media kit ready for you, having social proof of who you are, that people believe and trust, especially because now people are moving away from traditional media. So podcasts are viewed as kind of that authority now. So if you're on a podcast regularly, you're viewed as that authority. So for 1,000 reasons that would take us literally 2.5 days, because that's how long the seminar is to go over, I highly recommend people to get on podcasts.
Yeah, 100%. Get yourself on podcasts. Some good advice there. So thank you very much, gentlemen. John Chan and Sean Tyler Foley. Thanks for coming on and playing. And well done, Tyler, for crushing. All right, I'm going to wrap things up.